Manila wakes up early, long before the sun fully rises, and its streets begin to hum with the familiar rhythm of everyday struggle. Jeepneys rattle past, vendors call out prices for breakfast meals, and children weave through narrow alleyways selling sampaguita garlands or cold bottled water. Among these children is 8-year-old Amara, a girl with soft brown eyes, messy ponytails, and a voice so powerful that people often stop mid-walk without meaning to. Life has not been kind to her. Her father disappeared when she was 5, lost to the same poverty that consumes thousands of families, and her mother, despite 2 jobs, can barely manage rent for their tiny room in Tondo. Amara does not dream of toys or vacations. She dreams of rice, clean water, and a world where her mother does not cry quietly at night thinking Amara is asleep. For her, singing is not a hobby, it is survival. Every morning, she stands at the corner of Divisoria Market with an old plastic cup, singing American classics, Filipino love songs, and sometimes, songs she invents on the spot. Her voice echoes through the crowded market, raw and trembling, but incredibly soulful, so soulful that even hardened vendors pause to listen. One day, a tourist filmed her and posted the video online, not knowing it would change her life forever. Within hours, the video began spreading across social media, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, gathering millions of views. People from every corner of the world commented that her voice hurt in the most beautiful way. The internet dubbed her the Little Nightingale of Manila. A week later, an unexpected message arrived, an invitation from the producers of Asia's Got Talent, offering her the chance to audition. At first, Amara's mother refused. "We cannot afford to travel," she whispered, ashamed. But the show offered to sponsor everything: airplane tickets, hotel rooms, meals, even clothes. Amara had never sat on a plane, let alone seen a stage with real lights. When they arrived, she clutched her mother's hand in fear, overwhelmed by the shining cameras, the flashing screens, and the hundreds of people waiting backstage. Many contestants were older, professionally trained, wearing sleek costumes and makeup. She, on the other hand, wore a simple yellow dress donated by a barangay volunteer. But when a staff member asked if she was nervous, Amara simply smiled. "I sing every day so my mama can eat. This is nothing." And with that, she held her mother tightly one last time before stepping out into the blinding stage lights. When the judges appeared on the panel, including Simon Cowell, who flew in as a guest judge, the entire audience erupted. Amara stood silently in the center of the massive stage, her feet trembling. Simon noticed her shaking and softened his usually strict expression. "Hello, sweetheart," he said gently. "What's your name?" She introduced herself shyly, explaining in broken English that she sings on the streets to buy food. The entire theater fell silent. You could hear the cameraman shift his weight, you could hear someone gasp. Simon swallowed hard before asking, "And what will you sing for us today?" Amara answered softly, "I will always love you." The audience murmured in disbelief, an impossible song for many adults, let alone a small girl. When the music started, Amara closed her eyes, pressed her hand against her heart, and took a breath so deep it seemed to rise from the very center of her pain. Her voice emerged soft at first, delicate, trembling, but within seconds, the purity of her tone washed through the room like a wave. She did not just sing the notes, she lived inside them. Every word carried the weight of hunger, loss, fear, and love for her mother. By the time she reached the first high note, the audience was already wiping tears. As she continued, something rare happened, something even Simon had not witnessed often. It wasn't just that the girl could sing. It was that she carried emotions many adults spend a lifetime trying to hide. Her voice cracked in the perfect, heartbreaking places. Every vibrato felt like a pleading cry. Even the orchestra musicians sat straighter, stunned. Mid-performance, the camera zoomed in on Simon, who was pressing his lips together, fighting the emotion building in his eyes. He leaned slightly forward, elbows on the desk, completely absorbed. The audience, too, remained frozen, afraid to breathe too loudly. When Amara reached the climax of the song, her small voice rising into a breathtaking, goosebump-inducing belt, the entire hall erupted in cheers. But she kept going, unwavering, guided by something divine. When the music finally ended, she opened her eyes slowly, confused by the silence. And then, boom, the audience stood up as one, giving her a standing ovation so loud the walls shook. Simon Cowell himself stood, clapping, something that rarely happened. Amara looked overwhelmed, tears spilling down her cheeks. She was not used to applause. She was used to coins dropping into a cup. When the judges gave their comments, the moment became even more emotional. Ongun wiped her tears and whispered, "You are a miracle." David Foster, who had mentored some of the world's biggest singers, declared, "Your voice is pure pain and pure beauty combined. I have never heard anything like it." Finally, Simon leaned toward his microphone. He looked at her not with the eyes of a critic, but with the eyes of someone genuinely moved. "Amara," he began softly, "I've judged thousands of singers in my life. Some were powerful, some were impressive, but you," he paused, steadied himself. "You broke me. You made the entire world stop for a moment." The audience gasped. Then he reached for something, the golden buzzer. Amara froze. Her mother, watching from backstage, covered her mouth with her hands. Simon smiled gently and said the words that would change her life forever, "This is for every child who has ever been unheard." He slammed the golden buzzer. Gold confetti exploded from the ceiling like rain made of dreams. Amara sobbed uncontrollably as Simon walked onto the stage and hugged her, his voice cracking as he whispered, "You're safe now." After the episode aired, Amara became an overnight global sensation. Donations poured in to support her family. A foundation in Singapore offered full scholarships for her education. A Filipino-owned restaurant chain pledged to provide her and her mother free meals for life. But more than that, her story awakened the world to the reality of children living in poverty who carry extraordinary gifts. Amara didn't just win hearts, she forced people to look at the children they often ignore. Even Simon later said in an interview, "That little girl reminded me why I started in this industry." Her voice was one thing, but her courage, that was something else entirely. Today, while she continues competing in the show, her life is already transformed. She no longer sings on the streets for coins. She sings on stages filled with lights, cameras, and audiences who truly hear her. And yet, she remains the same humble child who once stood barefoot in a Manila market. Her dream is simple: "I just want my mama to rest." Whether she wins the competition or not, one thing is certain: Amara's voice will echo far beyond that stage. It will echo across continents, across hearts, across generations. A voice not born from luxury, but from struggle. A voice that turned pain into power. A voice the world will never forget.